Ladies and gentlemen, we're back. We took a month off, but we're back. Here we are. The season is amongst us. We're in the beginning of September, which every hockey fan knows is like a nail-biting time, but it's filled with excitement. It's filled with anticipation. We got the hockey seasons coming up. Obviously, NHL, OHL, CHL across every HL is just getting ready to pop, and that does not count out the BCIHL. But before we get into all this preseason madness, Matt, how are we doing?
Hey, Reese, doing good, buddy. Good to see you way over there. Hey, all of the cats and dogs have showed up for training camp.
It's true.
So, hey, our beloved Vikes, all the Vikes are in the house. There is Mars 2.0 right there.
Right, that's right. Yeah, we got
all the Vikes. Oh, the kittens.
Yeah, so, hit me up if you want one. Ontario wide. All right, hit me up, but let's get into it.
There you go. Get your own Vikes sponsored kitten from Reese.
Yes.
Yeah. Hey, I was able to go down to Vikes practice yesterday. Saw a bunch of new players down there and felt that cold ice going to my cold heart. I loved it. And just things are doing good, man. We're September 15th is the first exhibition game. So a couple weeks out from that. Good to see you, man. Good to see you, man. Talking BCIHL.
We're back in action.
Put a quarter in it.
Yep. And yeah, like you said, September 15th is not going to come quick enough, but that's when they get into action. So both in the corners and the BCIHL are going to be just getting on the track at the same time. It's going to be entertaining, but let's start a little bit on a serious note. We just want to give a quick shout out to all the people down in the Okanagan. Obviously, we discussed the Lakers here. There you go. Okanagan Lakers. They've been experiencing some forest fires like a lot of Canada has. So obviously thoughts and prayers, hoping the best, hope everything's good. Hope you didn't lose your house or something like that. So obviously, yeah, me and Matt just wanted to start off with a quick little message about that. If you got anything to add to that there, Matty.
No, hope you guys are doing okay. Lakers over there. We look forward to seeing you all this year. Stay safe.
Hopefully everybody's all good for the season to start. Hopefully there's no delays on their end. But also on a little bit of a lower note, definitely better than the last one, but man, the Vikes, they're going to be losing some players. So give us a quick little breakdown of what you experienced at that practice that you attended a couple days ago. What did you learn?
Well, Reese, the last episode we did together about 3 or 4 weeks ago, we went through all of the Vikes players that we anticipated being at training camp. Yep. And if you missed that one, you should go back and listen. We talked about each player that was going to show up. When I went to training camp yesterday, I've realized that there are many other Vikes players not returning. Blake Bentham, Spears, Kelly, Von Schomburg, Nolan, Withy, Pilon, Kirsten, and McEachern. Those are all players that are going out the door. So that is added to Keenan Eddy, Matthew Hermery, Alex Benger, Dustin DeGo. I'm forgetting some players, Riley Braun. So, hey, at the practice, 9 out of the 15 forwards were new. So this is a big moment for the Vikes coaching staff. They were running a good practice down there. The players are in good hands with the coaches there, but it'll be up to the Vikes team to kind of come together with these new players, right? Get their team ready to go for this exhibition season and then the BCIHL. What do you think, Reese? Are you surprised to see that, all the changes?
Oh, yeah. If anybody watching right now paid attention to in the corners this year, I think I mentioned the names Spears, Nolan, Braun, Kelly, Hermit, the list goes on, kind of all their top 6 scorers. They're all gone. So you won't hear much of them anymore. Hopefully not, because the only context that I'd be bringing them up is if the new lines don't produce as well as they have. But that is a huge loss all right off the bat, like before the season even starts. It's a completely different look. It's going to be a big breakdown, which we knew. We did know that there was going to be some changes, pretty major. We knew that a lot of good vet seniors were leaving the team, but I mean, Bentham, add that to the list of really important players. Von Schoenberg, he is another guy that me and you loved watching, calling the game. So yeah, unfortunate losses, and to make pretty much clear what you just said. The cohesion in this team is going to be the do or die of their success. If there's no cohesion, and it's asking a lot to have quick cohesion when you have, 9 out of 15, right? So yeah, it's going to be an interesting thing to see. Definitely a different look. And from what you mentioned earlier, I'll let you get into this. You had a quick little conversation with the general manager of the Vikes, Harry Shamhart, who was saying he likes the D, he loves the goaltending, and he thinks that the forward group and all 4 lines might be an upgrade from what we saw last year. What do you think?
Yeah, right now the team, there's nothing but potential for the team. They don't know each other that well. They're just literally meeting each other on the ice. I saw them shaking hands while they were doing drills. So this is their chance to kind of show what they're made of. They're definitely competing for spots. All those players that are gone, we have new players to come in and who want to play for the Vikes. And we have a lot of names to learn this year. Like you said, we had some favorites from the past, but here come the new Vikes: Parkinson, Anstey, Malay, Schofield, Crew, lots of great new players. That's just the beginning of the list that we'll be highlighting this season as we watch the Vikes compete in this league, right?
Yeah, it's going to be a different league. We knew that from all the guys that SFU and the Mariners, especially, those guys brought in. Every team brought in some new talent that you can expect every season, but this year seems like a big influx. With that, there's going to be big changes to this Vikes team. We thought that a lot of those main scorers were going to stay, other than Braun, of course, who we knew was going to be moving on. But wow, there's going to be a lot of questions going into that, and we'll get into some of those. But we'll kind of move the focus away from the Vikes and look at everybody. So we wanted to, Matt, you were thinking of looking at season highlights from last season, or from this year. What's?
Yeah. Well, what I'm thinking, I want to take about 3 minutes on each team here.
Okay.
And I looked over their season schedule. Now, this BCIHL regular season schedule has been released, as well as all of the exhibition games. And remember, those can be kind of interesting, right? Last year, the Vikes played the Ducks, etc. So all of that has been released. So, Reese, I'd like to give you about a minute on each team, and just you give me your reaction about this. These are some of the highlights I see for the upcoming season schedule for each team. Make sense?
Let's hear it.
Logan Lake Miners. Okay, last year, 0-20. They're starting on the road for 4 games this season. Their home opener is October 13th against the Lakers. The Miners this year, they're hitting the road in the new year to go play against the University of Montana Grizzlies. That's ACHA Division II. Looks like a similar league to the Ducks. The Grizzlies, they're also known as the Grizz, which I can appreciate quite a bit. Their jersey just says Grizz. That's fantastic. So the Miners are going to go down to Montana, put on their cowboy hats. Of course, the Miners and the Grizz, they kind of go together, if you think about it that way. That's in Missoula. Then, after the trip to Montana, the very next regular season game that the Miners will have will be at UVic. So, some interesting things about the Miners. Reese, what stands out to you about the Miners?
Immediately, you got to be happy that they're making some outside of the league movements. I didn't think, I could be completely wrong about this, but I think last season they didn't. I think they just stuck in the BCIHL, if I'm not mistaken. So I think there was only 2 teams in the league that did this, and it was SFU and the Vikes, because they went down and played the Ducks. The Mariners might have went up north. Can't remember, but I know SFU and the Vikes were, doing those little mid-season, end-of-season exhibitions with teams outside of the league, which I love. I think that's huge. I think when it comes to a league like this, where you're not playing like 82 games, nothing close to that, where you're playing not the most amount of games, you want to build as much chemistry as you can. And I feel like practice obviously helps, but it's not going to do it as well as just playing in a game situation together as much as possible. So I think this is going to have a big impact on how well of a team they develop over this year compared to last year. I mean, you could expect that they're going to do a little better just by gaining the experience, but I hate to say this, their record could stay the same, but they could still improve, which is probably something that's not very, positive or optimistic to bring up if you're a Logan Lake guy, but it's a tough league, and the league right now is
Yep.
kind of under the control of SFU. And until someone overthrows that power struggle, it's gonna be tough. So going to Montana, you know, fun fact, I have been to Missoula. I drove through it when I drove from Victoria all the way over here.
Whoa.
Yep, I've been there. I had a feeling just looking at the landscape and the type of people there that hockey could grow here. Hockey really could. But population's got to go up first because
okay.
for it. But no, I definitely think that is a very good thing for the minors. And do I think that'll have an effect on the UVic game? Yeah, for sure. I feel like we're obviously looking into the future here because it's in January, these games are.
Yes.
But January 19th comes around, I'm sure UVic is going to feel a little bit of like a breath of, okay, well, I think we can get ourselves a W here. Well, you could find yourself in a pretty bad position if you have that confidence a little bit too much, because they just came back from a trip. And we learned last season, sometimes when you come back from a trip, playing against a different team in a different league, different look, different pressure as well, you know, not much implications on the season, even though it did. I think the exhibition results had an implication on the standings. Is that correct? No, I don't think.
I don't think I follow.
Good. Thank God. No, okay. I'm sorry, I'm going crazy. But that'll make Logan Lake look way better, I guarantee.
Yep. Logan Lake will be rooting for you guys. Put some hockey blades on your cowboy boots and get down there.
Yeah.
I agree with everything you're saying.
By the way, I do have to mention those. You put the Montana Grizzlies, they're stunning. It's nice.
Yep.
Like burgundy with the gray. I love it. That's a beautiful. Looks
Bring us back a little bit of merch, minors, people.
Oh yeah.
We love you for it. Okay, moving on to the Lakers. Last year, 7 wins, 9 losses, 4 overtime losses. A big part of the story last year. Yep. In their exhibition, they're going to play the Penticton Silver Bullets. That is a senior hockey team. They mean business. You don't mess around with them. They will put your head in a can. Then they're going to play against the Spartans, Trinity Western University.
Oh yeah, that's an old BCIHL team right there.
Exactly. They're going to lace them up in exhibition. Spartans, they're not doing great in youth sports. They want to get tuned up and get some more wins. The Lakers, home opener September 30th against the Logan Lake Miners. Now, for the Lakers, before Christmas, they have 4 games against SFU. So if you're the Lakers, your first half of the season is SFU heavy, and then the second half is you're coming out to the island a bit more. Season finale against SFU February 24th. Reese, what do you make of the Lakers' upcoming season schedule?
Well, again, we're seeing more of these teams do those out of league competitions, exhibitions, whatever you want to call them. I love it. Yeah, early on, obviously, like you said, September 15th, super early. They're going to face off against that senior team, the Silver Bullets. Like you said, that was a great name. Yeah. And then Trinity Western, which is an interesting case, obviously, because this league lost them to U Sports, which I think we can all agree is kind of the upward mobility of a team playing in the BCIHL, which I think should be the next move for SFU. I wonder what's holding that back. I'm sure there's some details, you know, that would be kind of interesting to find out. Maybe they don't have enough people, you know, population of school could come into play, not sure, but 325-0. So they're having a tough time in U Sports. That is a tough league though. That's some of the best hockey you can get outside of, you know, CHL. So yeah, that'll be interesting. Another thing that'll help improve that Lakers team. They were on the fringe right there, so they could easily be taking Vike's spot, or even the Mariners if they come back and just fly, right? So, yeah, I think that their entire setup with playing SFU before and then staying on the island after is going to be a little bit of a it's going to be a little bit of a disappointment, because they're going to come in thinking like, okay, we're going to get through the hard games first, and then we'll get to the island and have a little bit of a familiarity with them. I think those are the teams that you don't want to meet at the end of the season. You want to meet them more at the beginning, so you can get those out of the way, because it's going to be compete. And I feel like both Vikes and the Mariners work their way up on an upward trajectory rather than, you know what I mean? So
I like to hear it. Okanagan Lakers will be excited to see you folks down at the UVic place. Big season last year, 4 overtime losses. That was those swing one way or the other. Things look a lot different in the league. So we'll see if their luck turns a little bit this year, maybe, you know. Okay, now moving on to UVic. Okay, let's Let's talk about this one together. Exhibition. They're going to play the Mariners, right? A home and home. They're going to play exhibition at the Red Leafs. Then they're in this month, they're going to do a team building trip to Alberta to Concordia. They're called the Concordia Thunder, which is I appreciate quite a bit. The Grizz and the Thunder. So last year, the Thunder, they're in a league called ACAC. Last year, 9-14-1. Red Deer Polytechnic, they won the whole thing last year. So this year's Vikes road trip will be to Edmonton or Concordia. You know, I might have the wrong town, but I think it's Edmonton. Yeah. Home opener for the Vikes is against the Miners, October 6th. Here is a big thing I want to run by you, Reese. The October homestand. They start the season 4 games at home in October. Logan Lake, Mariners, Lakers, Red Leafs. They're seeing every team in the BCIHL in the first month. So that's a pretty good one. All right, here we go. We're looking at the Vikes, still looking ahead to their season. Some things about their schedule. In October, Reese, they're going to see each team in the BCIHL once in October. Bang, 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 bang. Miners, Mariners, Lakers, Red Leafs, they're all regular season. That's pretty interesting. We're going to see them all at home. There's 1 week in November also where they're going to play 3 games in a week at the Mariners, at the Miners, at the Lakers. That's kind of interesting. Holiday break, December 3rd. First game back is SFU. Remember how I said the Lakers, they get a lot of SFU at the start of the season? Well, the Vikes, they get them January. 3 games in January. That's SFU month for UVic. Couple more things before I get your feedback here, Reese. UVic versus VIU, all 5 games, regular season, are before the holidays. So they're going to have all the games done against the Mariners. Kind of interesting. Let's see here. 2 of the last 3 games for the Vikes of the season will be hosting the Lakers. So that could be interesting for jockeying for playoff position. And I think that's it. Anything about the upcoming UVic season schedule stand out to you, Reese?
Oh yeah, there's a lot to go through. I think the Vikes are being set up for success. I think the way that the schedule is laid out could prove to be something that makes them way higher in the standings that maybe if the season wasn't structured in that way, they wouldn't have saw. Because when you see every team in the first month, I feel like that will really give you an idea of where they are and where they could be. Because based on last year, based on how other teams progressed early in the season, when you have a lot of games stacked against the same teams, you're kind of obviously focusing on them and using all that time to not study and to not get an understanding of what other teams in the league could be looking like further into the season, where you really need those points to get into the playoffs or to find yourself into a better position or a better matchup when you get to the playoffs. So yeah. I love that for them. October is going to be a huge month. Their performance to me becomes a little bit less important because you're seeing what type of team they are. You're seeing what you have to do to beat them in the future, you know, into the coming months, coming into the winter and coming into that final stretch, getting into the spring. So that's huge for them. But one aspect of this that I really want to stress on, and you said it right at the beginning, is the Vikes are doing the doubleheader against VIU for the preseason. Now I'm probably thinking like, well, Reese, why are you so excited about a preseason game? This was me and Matt's introduction to doing play-by-play for the team, and it built so much excitement because the rivalry is so strong and it goes a long way. It goes pretty deep history in the last 20 years. So love to see that. I'm really excited, and it's coming super soon. It's on the 15th and 16th. So yeah, that's kind of my 2 things from the Vikes that I am excited about.
Right on. We should have those exhibition games from UVic live on YouTube. So we'll update you on that later on. Let's talk about the Mariners now. 13-6-1 last year, lost in the finals, 2-0. 1 close game, 1 not so close. They were the only team to knock off the Red Leafs last year, were the Mariners. We did a couple shows about them this summer, some of the players they've added. Check that out if you missed those, because we saw what the Mariners were up to. You know, they're adding a lot of hot players there. So VIU, they've got an exhibition schedule. They're they're going to play against the Spartans as well, like the Lakers are. So they're going to play against TWU. Then this year, the Mariners are going to go do the Alaska trip that SFU did last year, September 29 and 30. They're going to University of Anchorage, Alaska, NCAA teams, 2 back-to-back games, Anchorage and Fairbanks. So we'll be keeping an eye. That's the same weekend as the Vikes trip to Concordia. So we'll keep an eye out for you guys there. That sounds fun. Bring us back some ice cream and whatever they got there. What do you think they got up? I guess waffles, right?
Something.
Yeah. I don't know why. Is waffles the official food of Alaska? Probably not.
It is now. Like
okay.
Moose or something.
And just like the Vikes, they're going their time against SFU is in the new year in January. So it's going to be a lot of Vikes and Mariners in the first half of the season, and then SFU second half of the season. So Mariners, Reese, what do you think of that upcoming schedule for them?
Honestly, I'm thinking they thought SFU did so good. They went to Alaska. Let's follow in their footsteps and we'll get to a similar position. No, I'm kidding. I think there's nothing new to see here for VIU. I think they're going to be just a scary team. I think they're ready to go. I think the additions they made and the guys that they lost are much more positive than negative. Yeah, I fear for the Vikes to play them. I think they're going to be a really tough match.
Yeah.
We'll see if they can give a real challenge to SFU. We'll see if the Vikes are somehow the challenge to SFU. Maybe the Miners. I don't know. Again, we're looking for all the questions, but if I'm making an early prediction, I'll definitely tell you VIU is going to be a team. They're going to be present.
Yeah. Can't wait to see you guys in exhibition, and wishing you best in Alaska. That'll be fun for them. A good memory that will last throughout the season and bring the team some
Absolutely.
waffles and some hockey happiness. SFU last year, 19-1. They're the champs. October 7th, season opener at the Lakers, Oklahoma. I always want to say Oklahoma. Yeah. Okanagan Lakers. October 14th, home opener against the Lakers. SFU. We talked about this a lot over the summer. I'm going to go quickly and get your thoughts. Their exhibition schedule includes UBC, Briarcrest, Trinity Western, and the Colorado Tigers. Then in a second news release, they announced they were going to be playing in Massachusetts against the Boston University Terriers and going back-to-back with Boston College. These are the famous NCAA teams. The Terriers, for example, lost to the Gophers last year, who eventually went to the final of the NCAA team. These programs are no joke, featuring Macklin Calabrini, projected first overall pick next year in the NHL. And the Eagles, who I guess aren't supposed to be as good as the Terriers somehow, they have 6 players that were drafted last year in the National Hockey League, including 3 or 4 in the first round. So SFU, they're going to be defending their BCIHL championship, as well as going around and playing against these other well-established programs in America and across Canada. Reese, what do you think of these Red Leafs?
Well, I think they'll have a real good time, in Massachusetts, but I don't think it will be the hockey that will be fun. They're going to get smashed. Those are some great teams. If SFU were to win, I would be super happy, because I would be like, way more respect, because Boston College and Boston University, those are just, as a Habs fan, in my opinion, the second coming of Cale Makar is coming through that line in Massachusetts, and Lane Hudson, and that kid is going to tear that league apart again this year. And guess what? They might get a taste of them, this SFU. So maybe we'll have to get you down there asking them how he looked playing against him. So, and yeah, you obviously got a lot of other players. He's just one of many. Tom Lander, yeah, like you said, Calabrini, Will Smith, Ryan Leonard, Gabe Pro. These guys all were in that league. It's just going to be an interesting time for SFU. Yeah. So I like that, though. I like how they're. I'm very excited for the results of UBC and for Trinity Western, because, like I said, Those are U sports. That's the step above this league. That's kind of the upward mobility that you kind of want to have. So let's see if they deserve to be there.
Yeah, SFU took UBC to overtime last year.
That's right.
We're wishing the Red Leafs good, safe journeys and, good puck luck. And we'll get to see them a lot before they do all this stuff. Now, Reese, there we go. We went over some of the highlights we're looking forward to from the BCIHL schedule this season.
Oh, yeah.
And from all the teams, can't wait to see you guys out there. Before we go, you got about 5 minutes left in your Reese for a game.
Oh, heck yeah. Absolutely. Always.
Okay. Love to hear it. Okay. This is my idea of the game. As I was preparing this, I picked out, I just had 4 or 5 kind of preposterous predictions coming to my mind.
All right.
So I'm going to run them by you and you tell me these takes. Am I on to something or am I on to nothing?
All right.
Okay.
I like the sound of it. Okay,
here we go. VIU Mariners are going to Alaska for 2 games and they're going to win one of the 2 games.
Absolutely.
Am I on to something or am I on to nothing?
Oh, you're on to something right there. Absolutely. I think they're going to take a W.
Nice.
I think that it's that simple. I think they're going to do a little bit of shock factor for the hockey world. I have a lot of trust in that team. I think they'll do it.
Yeah. Palmer will be down there at Foe, their new defenseman. I got to learn how to say the name, but they're missing Morton, but they got that new guy from the Broncos too. They're going to be sweet. Okay, here we go. SFU Red Leafs will lose 2 games in the BCIHL regular season. On to something or on to nothing?
Wow, I like that. That's contentious because I want to say on to nothing because we know how good they are, but they did get that 1 loss this year. And I do feel like if I'm going to go betting, if I was a gambling man, I would probably say just based on the improvements and the amount of players that have came and went, got to expect another win there. So you know what? I'm actually going to go, you're onto something. I think they could get losses. Maybe an OT loss instead of another loss. I don't know.
Yeah.
We'll see.
The Lakers took them to overtime, maybe a couple times last year. We'll see. Okay, here we go. The Vikes this year are going to play in 4 or more overtime games. On to something or on to nothing?
I'm going to say on to nothing.
Okay.
Those overtime games are a little bit hard to come by in this league, and I think it'll be less for sure. For sure. Just based on the climate of how games went. We did see a lot of overtime, but I just feel like those games were particularly closer than some that you'll see this year. That's just my prediction. I think this year it'll be a little bit more cut and clear, clear
right.
what it is.
It'll be exciting to see any overtime drama this year. Love to see the home team score in overtime. One of great memory from last year, and this year, who knows who will pot one, eh? Okay. The Logan Lake Miners will win 2 games in regulation this season. BCIHL. On to something, on to nothing.
I'm going to say on to nothing because in regulation, I think they could sneak an overtime win out of the Lake. I thought out of anybody. Maybe the only 2 teams that I could say are absolute. There's no way is SFU and the Mariners. Not to take anything away from the Vikes. I just believe that that's the way it's going to be. And I think the Miners could catch you on an off night, bring you to overtime and get a nice win. So we had a close little experience, if you remember, by the end of the season here with the Vikes. Yeah,
I do. That was the night we ate a bunch of candy and we couldn't call the game because we were eating candy the whole time, right?
That's correct.
Okay, on to something, on to nothing. SFU will have a winning record in exhibition. So they've got 8 games.
Oh yeah, you're on
SFU. I was 5-3. They'll have a winning record. On to something.
Yes, for sure.
Woo!
5-3, something like that sounds very, very accurate. That sounds like where it would be.
Okay, on to something. Hey, we're doing pretty good in this game. I think that I got it all. Oh, I have one more here. The Vikes this season will go all year without getting shut out, but they will also go all year without scoring less than 2 goals. That one feels really weird. Does that make any sense? That one's like the chalkboard, when the guy is trying to execute the meme.
I'm gonna just say on to nothing for the scoring aspect. I think this will be a lower scoring Vikes.
Okay.
I do think they're gonna. I can't say they'll not do as well in the standings, but I can say I think they're still going to be a successful team with less scoring, because I think when, like, Harry was very critical of defense and goaltending, and now that he has early season confidence in something like that, I don't think he's the type of guy who's quick to be positive about players. He's typically quick to be more critical and ask more questions, just based off the last 3 seasons we've been with him. So I think it's tough, but I do think that they're going to score less. I don't think they're going to score 2 goals a game. I think you might be calling a couple boring games. I think there might be a 2-0 win here and there. One tie going into overtime, a 1-0 win against someone like the Lakers. That's what I think this Vikes team's going to be. Great defense, because Gattenby, he's in a position right now where he's in BCIHL prime. Like, he is going to be experienced. He's seen the highs and lows. I think he'll be ready to inspire a lot of those defensemen that Harry has a lot of faith in, which is huge, because you lost guys like Von Schoenberg to go. So we'll see.
Yeah. Reese is looking into the crystal ball and seeing a more well-rounded defensive team in the Vikes. I'd like to hear it. And, these are kind of ridiculous takes I just thought for this game. But in the next week or two on the show, we'll get into more specifics. For example, once we see the goalies in exhibition, we'll have a better sense of who's going to play a net for the Vikes. That'll give us a feel for what the team is going to look like, obviously. So how is that? There we go. On to something, on to nothing. Maybe you'll bring that back.
I think,
you like that one?
I think we should do that at the midway point of the season, and then maybe right before the playoffs, so we can kind of give ourselves a prediction environment coming into those important times.
Well, there'll be no shortage of games here on the show. We'll always come up with something. How many bean fates we want to award, etc.
Oh, yeah.
Well, buddy, I think I'm about done with my notes. What do you think? Anything left to say before we get out of here?
All I'll say is, like you mentioned earlier, games are going to be on YouTube. Thank God. Thank whatever you pray to, because that is huge. Hockey TV was very exclusive. It cost money. It was a pain. It wasn't great. It cost money to take your videos. Not great. So great thing we're on YouTube now, accessible for everybody. And yeah, we'll try to use this channel and the In the Corners social media to promote as much as we can when those games are being live streamed. So tune in.
Yeah,
because we get serious in the BCIHL.
Yeah, buddy, take care of yourself over there. Maybe we'll get another show in before the exhibition, but if not, we'll get one before the start of the BCIHL season, and we'll get some more games going. How's that sound?
NHL content coming soon. Matt will know about it. It's in the process of making right now. As soon as
nice
preseason comes in, you'll see a little bit of a streaming situation on my end. So tune in for that. But I'm not going to promote that too much here, because I want everybody tuned and dialed with the BCIHL. I don't want any distractions. So, all right. Thank you so much.
Let's get out of here.
Yeah, we got to get out of here. The fans are coming in. We can hear them knocking on the doors. The stadium's about to burn down. So we got to check out of here. So much excitement to look forward to in this league.
Yeah, good to see you, Vikes, at the practice, and everybody. We're looking forward to seeing you play this year.
Absolutely. Ladies and gentlemen, it's been Reese and Matt, and we'll see you in a couple weeks, we'll leave it a little ambiguous based on how, the BCIHL updates and actions pile up on our desk, in the Corners offices. So
sounds good.
Yes, sir. All right, guys. Thanks so much. Talk